So in focus now, Republican Congressman Brian Mast of Florida. He will chair the House Foreign Affairs Committee in the new Congress. Thank you so much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Okay, so what do you say to these sanctuary cities, which are all run by Democrats, and counties, if they in fact mess with the feds?
I think it goes just beyond law enforcement. It's no holds barred for all resources, all dollars that go into your city, because the fact of the matter is you're taking tax dollars from all Americans, but endangering all Americans. Whether somebody came in Arizona and burned somebody alive in New York, you're endangering everybody. So whether it's dollars that come through the Highway Trust Fund or through the Corps of Engineers to support your ports, or you name it, those dollars should be cut off. We're not going to subsidize what you do with illegal immigrants. And, let's make one other point on this. It also goes to the change that's going to happen with the federal government side of it. We know under the Biden administration, you have ICE that will go to local law enforcement agencies and say, hey, we know they're set for final deportation, but that's not good enough for us to detain them and bring them to the ICE facility. And the federal government will tell them, you let them go instead. That has to come to an end. It will come to an end under President Trump.
Okay, so the program is called the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program. And essentially, it costs $234 million a year. California gets more than $60 million as part of that, which basically helps keep criminal illegal immigrants behind bars. Why in the world are we spending $60 million a year in California, plus whatever assistance they need in sanctuary cities, when quite frankly, if you were to deport all of these illegal immigrants, specifically the criminals that are behind bars, you already have them in custody. It's not like you have to go searching for them. I can't even understand how the Biden administration let this happen.
The why is simple, because they do support that. Because you had a Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and you have a Hakeem Jeffries, and you have others that want to go out there and take the resource and say, hey, listen, you have to have a bleeding heart for these people that entered our country illegally. We have to lodge them. We have to pay their legal fees. We have to pay for their food. We have to pay for their health care. We have to pay for their transportation and everything else. And they have no remorse over it whatsoever. They would continue these policies were it not for the media showing people being burned alive, showing what happened with Lake and Riley, showing what could be the difference between a Trump administration and a Biden administration in protecting Americans from this. Otherwise, there would be no pushback whatsoever. So media gets some credit for this as well in bringing it to light.
As you know, President-elect Trump has big plans for day one when it comes to immigration. He's not messing around. Some of those include the largest ever mass deportation, re-implementing Remain in Mexico, expanding detention facilities, imposing sanctions, or withholding aid to countries that refuse to take citizens back, and stopping use of the CBP One app, which basically allows them to fly all over the country without showing any kind of ID, making it very easy for them to disappear.
Yeah, you're not going to check in on the Mexico side of the border and then be welcomed in on the U.S. side of the border. You're no longer going to receive instruction on the Mexico side of the border on how to circumvent U.S. border security and what you need to, quote unquote, tell the Border Patrol agents to actually make it through, even though you wouldn't qualify for asylum in the United States of America. You're not going to get cash vouchers or prepaid credit cards in the middle of Mexico to pay for your way to the U.S. southern border. All of these programs that have come about under Democrats are coming to an end, whether they're through Homeland Security or the State Department or anyone else. I have every belief that Mr. Holman, Mr. Rubio, others will bring all of these to an end on the executive side, and we will work to do it on the House side, guaranteed.
The president has also talked about imposing tariffs on Mexico and Canada for those who are doing business with businesses outside of this country to try to sort of promote those businesses to come and do their business here in the United States. But also, they're threatening sanctions against these countries. What do you think sanctions will do to get Mexico to stand up and finally take some responsibility?
Tariff and sanctions are two of my favorite words in the vocabulary of the Trump administration, because we have to look at what are these countries doing to us and say, we're not going to sit back and be played for fools, be played for suckers, be taken advantage of. It's not written on our forehead, and we're no longer going to be that way for the United States of America. This is a new sheriff in town, and it's going to change. And if you're going to hurt Americans, it's going to be painful for you, and it's going to be even more painful the next week and the next month and the next year if you don't acquiesce.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's about time that they are held accountable. Why are we paying for their mistakes? Congressman Mast, thank you very much for talking to us. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, as always.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.